Hello everybody, my name is Hope and welcome back to my channel. I like musicals, they're a part of my life, and today I'm giving you some theatre hot takes. As the theatre community is such a big community, there's always going to be unpopular opinions, hot takes, things, drama. You know, we're used to it by now. We're theatre kids. But today I thought I would share some of them with you. Now this is just a quick preface that this does not mean I agree. I'm going to be talking about whether I agree or disagree or what I think about all these hot takes. But just remember, this is no hate to creatives or cast or anything like that, because we're not about spreading hate here on this channel. But before I get into this video, remember that you can like, comment, subscribe, do all of that fun stuff, and you can also follow me at all my social medias, which is Hope Wilson E on TikTok and Instagram, so that's Hope Wilson with an E, and you can follow me on Twitter, which is Hope Wilson 45. But let's be honest, who's gonna want to do that? So without further ado, let's get into the video. So our first hot take is about Les Mis, and it's Cosette is nowhere near as bad as everyone makes her out to be. Marius is the real red flag in that musical. Now, I agree and I disagree. So I agree that Cosette is overhated. I think I've talked about it on this channel before, but what is up with that? Why does everyone hate Cosette? I don't get it. I'm a big Cosette fan, but what I don't agree with is Marius is a red flag. I do just think he's a bit of an idiot. Like, there's not much you can do about your best friend having a crush on you, and there's also not much you can do about love at first sight. So he's kind of just trapped in this impossible position, and I'm not saying that he deals with it in the best way. Like, you're leaving your friend hanging a little bit the whole time, but that's not what we're talking about here. I personally wouldn't call him a red flag. I think that is a bit far, but I do think Cosette is like criminally overhated for no reason. Like, she's the nicest person. She is the nicest character in that group, and she has had the most trauma. So I think we just need to all cut her some slack. And while we're on the topic of Les Mis, I saw one that said Aaron Tveit should have been Marius in the Les Mis film, and I've got to be honest, this has never crossed my mind before, but thinking about it, I was like, wow, this would be amazing. Wouldn't that be so good? Wouldn't he have been so good as Marius? I'm just leaving a silence for you to stew in that, because I think he would have been really good, personally. Okay, the next one is I want movie musical animated adaptations. Into the Woods should have been animated and Cats should have been animated. Right. Again, this is a concept that I have never considered before, but I think makes so much sense. Do I think Into the Woods or Cats will have worked as an animation? I'm not sure. I don't know if people would take them even less seriously than they take the real ones, but I think there is definite potential in it, and I would like to see someone try to see if it works, because like that's such a good idea. Why has nobody ever done that? Because like Disney films work amazingly well, and even things like Enchanted, which is like half animation, like half live action, we're all having a great time. So why have they never done it the other way around and turned live action stuff into animation? I think that's just food for thought, because I think that's not a hot take. I just think that's a great idea and someone should try it. Animated Hamilton, anyone up for that? Maybe. Okay, the next one is about Heathers, and it's that there's really no difference between Blue and You're Welcome, other than Blue has more explicit lyrics. It's really just about preference. I agree with this statement. I do think it's a hot take, because the whole point You're Welcome was written was because Blue was deemed as like too far, and yeah, it is too far, I agree, but I don't think that You're Welcome is any less far than Blue is. And I actually think that because Blue has the more explicit lyrics, it's less creepy, because A, I think you take it way less seriously because it's like so farcical, and B, like You're Welcome leaves more up to interpretation, and so it can be perceived as worse. I like both songs. I prefer Blue, but I don't know if that's just because I grew up with the original Heathers recording, which obviously has Blue in it, but I think it's a hard one. But I do think that it is just about preference. I don't think that it's necessarily more PG than Blue is. Okay, the next one is a Sondheim one. It's a Sweeney Todd one, and that's Joanna is the best character in Sweeney Todd, and her arc is necessary to the show. And I agree. I think Joanna is a strange character and a difficult one to kind of get your head around. I think it's kind of like Cosette, because she's kind of like this sweet and innocent girl that you kind of don't see like a transformation, but like I think with Joanna, like there's a big transformation there. Like she kills. She goes to an insane asylum when she's not insane, and and her adoptive father wants to marry her. Like, she has valid crash out reasons. And everything that happens in the show is basically because of Joanna, because Sweeney Todd, spoilers for Sweeney Todd, but this is like a 50-year-old musical at this point. Sweeney Todd finds out that Joanna, his daughter, is still alive and is living with the judge, and he wants to get her back. And kind of the judge has his own side quest with like wanting to marry Joanna, and that isn't really Sweeney Todd's fault. But the reason they all get involved with each other is because Sweeney Todd wants his daughter back. So like her arc is pretty important to like everything that goes on. And I've always said, if there was ever a wet wipe in Sweeney Todd, it's Anthony. Like, it's Anthony. Joanna kills a guy and he's supposed to kill her but doesn't because he's a bit of a wet wipe. But we love him for that. Joanna is a great song and she's a great character. Do I think she's the best character in Sweeney Todd? No, I don't think she's in it enough for that. I think Mrs. Lovett is like the ultimate character. And Sweeney Todd is also great, but one of the best, I would agree. Someone put Shrek the musical slaps, and all I have to say is, yes, it does. I do think this is a bit of a hot take, because real theatre kids, I think true theatre kids appreciate it, but anyone that's kind of like not really into it doesn't get why Shrek works as a show. So I like Shrek, but I have a few qualms with it. My issue with Shrek is that the jokes are directed towards children, but I don't think that children are really the target audience for the show. Like, obviously it's an adaptation of a kids film, and like the whole thing about Shrek is that it's directed towards kids, but it's really directed towards adults. But I think the show leans more towards, it's directed towards kids and adults, but we're directing it to kids, even though the real target audience is adults. So I think there are a couple of jokes that I'm like, well, this doesn't really work, like the end of I Think I Got You Beat and stuff like that. But I would say like a solid 95% of the show is absolutely great, and I think the soundtrack is so good, it's so fun and vibey, we all enjoy it, and I think it's a good show. Like, I actively really do think it's a good show, and one that I really like. When I saw the show, like, it's got to be like 5 years ago now, actually probably more than that, it was probably like 7 years ago. I actually got a keychain from Shrek the Musical, and I still have it, and here is the proof. I've got a little dragon, a little Shrek the Musical, a little Shrek sign. It's a good show. I enjoy it, I'll be honest. Okay, next I think is a hot take, but it was an interesting point that I'd never seen come up, so I wanted to talk about it. The invented words in Wicked take me out of the world. Now, I have feelings on this, okay? So they don't take me out of the world, but I think some of them are really dumb. Like, you can't blame Wicked for being consistent, at least they stick to it, but I think some of them I'm like, okay, this is stupid. Like, stuff like Wizamania, it doesn't bother me, I think it's fine, but it's when words are just like slightly changed to the point where you may as well just say the original word, and it's like, I don't know what the currency in the world of Wicked is, I can't remember, but it's got to be something like Whizbox, and you're like, Whizbox? Really? Couldn't thought of anything else. That's my opinion on it. So it doesn't take me out of the world, but there have been times, and there are times in the musical, I can't think of any examples off the top of my head, but there are examples where in my head I'm like, you could have just said the word, and I just think about it for an unnecessary amount of time. So take what you will with that opinion. The next one I have very strong feelings about, and it's Ellen in Miss Saigon has never done anything wrong. She could react even more than she does in the show, and she would be being perfectly reasonable. I 100% agree with this. The plot of Miss Saigon has nothing to do with Ellen. She is just in an unfortunate position. It's really kind of all Chris's fault. Like, Miss Saigon, the story is to do with Kim and it's to do with Chris. Ellen is just married to Chris long time after the fact that all of this stuff from the first act has happened, and she finds out about all this and she's really nice about it. Like, imagine if you found out that your partner had a child that not only did you not know about, but they not know about, and that child is also in a war-torn country, and the mother of this child is trying to give you this child. That is a lot to handle. You're going from 0 to 100 real fast, and she is 90% nice about it. Like, she really tries, and honestly, I think that's all that matters. I think there are a couple of times I'm like, Ellen, you could have picked better words, but I would say as a whole, she's very nice about it. And people hate on Ellen because they're like, she's getting in the way of Kim and Chris, but like, no, Chris is getting in the way of everything, and it's not really her fault. So we can cut her some slack. as well. She's on the cut some slack lists. Okay, and someone said Cats is better than Six, and I have nothing to say on this statement other than the two shows are extremely different, and we all know my feelings on one of these. Moving on, just because musicals are popular doesn't make it automatically overrated. People feel obliged to hate on something just because it's popular. Yeah, this is true. Like, there are so many shows that, like, even Hamilton got its hate because people were like, oh, Hamilton's so popular, why does everyone like it so much? Because it's a good show. Like, what? And I think some shows, like, they have like valid negative points brought up about them, but it doesn't change the fact that people will still like the show and enjoy the show. And just because you don't like a show doesn't mean other people won't like a show. It's kind of the whole point why there's lots of different shows, because you'll like some of them and you won't like others. And I just feel like this was a very true statement. Like, people are going to take it as a hot take. I know they are, but I'm not, because I think it's true. Just, if you don't like a show, that's fine, but don't go hating on it because other people might like it, unless it's one show, and otherwise you get the free pass. And you guys know what show that is if you've seen my content. I hate the Christine and Phantom ship. This is a hot take, but I absolutely agree with it. I hate Christine and Phantom together. It makes no sense. It's Stockholm syndrome-y. I think the Phantom is the Phantom's a grown man. Like, Christine's what, 21, 18? She's young. She's a young girl. And this is a grown man that lives in the back rooms of a theatre and spends most of his time lighting candles and rowing his boat. And you're telling me I'm supposed to root for this man as your dream man? What he does with his day, he wakes up, he lights his candles, he rows his boat, he pretends to be Christine's ghost of a father, teaches her some singing lessons, rows on his boat and blows all his candles out and goes to bed. How am I supposed to root for that man? That is the real question. I am such a Raoul stan. Like, Raoul for the win. Christine and Raoul should have ended up together. Hate me all you want. That's what I think. If a man can spend that much money on buying matches, he can probably buy himself a house. It's the 1900s. He's probably got that cash. And that's all I have to say. Okay, and this last one. This should not be a hot take. And I had to put it in here because I had to talk about it. And someone said, overtures longer than a minute that don't have any staging are dumb and bad. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? Overtures are phenomenal and amazing, and they set up the whole show. Stop hating on it because it's not what you like. I'm hating on you for hating overtures. Like, I have like overture recommendations. Like, if anyone wants any overture recommendations, I recommend the Colour Purple overture. I think the Colour Purple overture is amazing and beautiful and wonderful. Guys and Dolls, I think, is a great overture. So many good overtures to go around. I just think it's a staple of musical theatre that we should never let go, because the singers get their moment, the performers will always get their moment, but the band, that time is for the band. The band get appreciated in that moment, and I appreciate creatives getting appreciated. So there you have it. So those are my theatre hot takes. They're not mine. I just found them on the internet and decided to review them for you. But what do you think? Do you think these are hot takes? Do you think they're not hot takes? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think I'm like completely in the wrong? Because if you do, that is okay. But, you know, we're all allowed to have our opinion, but we're all going to be nice here about it, you know? But yes, please let me know what you think down in the comments. And while you're there, you could probably like the video and subscribe and do all of that fun stuff too. And follow me on my social medias, which remember is Hope Wilson with an E on Instagram and on TikTok. And you can get me on Twitter too. But thank you so much for watching this video. Keep enjoying musicals as much as me, and I will see you in the next one.